So in this video, I want to talk to you guys a little bit more about methods, and dive into a couple of different methods for the two object types that we know about, strings and fixed nums. So let's do what we had done before. We hop into IRB, we're in our Ruby shell, and let's set a string. We'll call it mug again for the sake of consistency. And then we're going to call the method methods, which we've seen before. So methods gives us a list of all of the methods associated with this string, which you guys already knew. But what you need to know is methods itself is also a method. It's something that it's a message you're able to pass to this data type, and upon passing this message, you get a returned output, and it's a list of all the methods. If you had called method, which I don't think should work, but I could be wrong, you will probably be met with an error because that's not a method associated with the string. At least I don't believe. Oh, okay, actually it turns out it is. You just need to pass it an argument, which we'll go into in more detail later. But metho, probably not. Undefined method metho, right? So this isn't a message we can pass to the string object. So let's call the methods method on mug again, and we can see that we are then given a list of all the methods attached to the string mug, which would be the same for any other string. If we had candle dot methods, all these methods are going to be the same. So let's go back to mug, get all the methods, and let's try one out. Okay, let's try upcase. So if we call mug and we say upcase and we return, we get our string with each letter capitalized. Pretty cool. Let's try a couple others. So if we use capitalize, we get our string, but just a capitalized version of our string. So you can see that the functionality associated with mug is pretty vast. There's a lot of different things you can do. I encourage you guys to try some of these things out and mess around with them, and you guys will see more about the other methods that we can use. So let's call dot length. Let's see how many characters are in a particular string, and we have 3 characters. Doesn't include the quotation marks. And I also, when I was preparing for this video a little bit, I noticed this method match. I was just curious about what it did, so I tried to call it and see what message would be returned to me upon executing this method on the string mug. And we're met with an argument error. Wrong number of arguments. You gave 0 arguments. It's expecting 1 or 2 arguments. So if we call match, it's expecting us to pass in an argument or a parameter, which this video isn't really about arguments and parameters, but there's other videos that are, but I'll just show you exactly what we would do in this situation. So basically, match needs other data in order to run. So we have to pass it something. We're going to pass it m, and we could guess that match likely is trying to match something that we pass into it with our data. So mug. So if we pass in m, thinking this might be the right, this might be an accurate parameter that we can pass to it to get this message to actually do something. So let's see. Okay, cool. So we're returned with this new object, match data, and M. It did it successfully. It successfully matched M. Now if we tried to pass in Z, probably not going to work. Nil. So we are nil, basically meaning nothing. It did not match the string of mug with a letter of Z. So that's cool. You know, something I just learned in trying to create this video. And you guys can try that with a bunch of these methods. You might not know how some of them work or what some of the errors you're getting are. You could probably Google them, but it's encouraged to try out some of these and see what you guys can do. So if we also then take a string or fix them and call methods, we're met with all of these methods. We can call 2. Let's see what 0 question mark does. I have a feeling, right? So 2 is not 0, so it's false. Let's see if 0 true. So we're asking, we're passing the message of 0 question mark to the fixed num value of 2. And so it turns out what this message is trying to tell us, which we could probably guess, is 2 0? And because it's not, we're returned with false. Is 0 0? And we're returned with true. We're asking the question, which we'll go into in the next video a little bit more. Is 2, let's see, 2 dot, let's say 2.2s, and it converts our integer of 2 to a string of 2, which are 2 totally different data types because we encapsulate, or I shouldn't say encapsulate, but I mean the term could technically work, but because we surround 2 with quotes, we then have a string of 2 instead of an integer value of 2. And we'll go into more details about methods a little bit later on. But go ahead and try some of these out and have a little bit of fun with it. Mess around. I'll see you guys in the next video.